Good morning to all the friends in China. Good evening to all the friends in the United States. Good afternoon to all friends in Europe. My name is Jason. On behalf of the SAG 171 AERA and the SAERA board, I welcome you all to the One World, One Family 2026 Global Village Pieces Flow series and also the pre-AERA CTBE-AERA conference virtual reception. Welcome you all. Today's agenda. So open is 5 minutes. Right? We have dialogue, right, with the speaker, and 30 or 40 minutes, and then we'll open for the Q&A. You can ask questions, and we can discuss together. We cannot say we give any clear answer, but we can discuss together, right? Share together. I think 2,500 years ago, 2,500 years ago, Confucius told us, teaching and learning together. Today, we talk and learn together. So then in the end, we have closing 5 minutes. This is our agenda today. And so that's open. If you have any question during the process, when we talk, you can type in your question. We'll also try to give you our ideas as soon as possible. Okay, then today we have our speaker and Dr. Shi, right? And she is very wonderful, and she has a wonderful paper in the AERA, and then so also she will share her the topic article, also share her the opinions, right, about our education, about her idea about how can we improve our teaching or learning or our collaboration and our education research. And she has very wonderful the background, right? So and you can see she come from California. So and also then she did a lot of work. She have the EDD program in the curriculum teaching from the teacher college of the Columbia. So and she will talk more about her background. So and she has a very wonderful background. She will talk about soon about herself experience. Thank you for your joining us. Thank you for your sharing.
Hello, everybody. I will start by sharing just a little bit about myself. I'm Jin Jr from Dharma Realm Buddhist University. I come from a Buddhist community called the City of 10,000 Buddhas, located in Ukiah, Northern California. And this Buddhist community is actively involved in education. We have a K-12 school, university, and adult education programs. Both our K-12 school and university are fully accredited by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges. The learning outcomes of our graduates are academic excellence, positive character, mindful spirituality, and global awareness. Our small K-12 private school has about 500 alums worldwide as a contributing member in the humanities, social sciences, and the sciences. Dharma Realm Buddhist University has a bachelor's in liberal arts and a master's in Buddhist classics with a core text focus. So reading, discoursing, contemplating, and writing about original texts from classical to contemporary works is one of the anchors of learning. Bringing text to life, the contemplative and immersive learning aspect are the other pillars of learning. So the classroom setting is a shared inquiry, a seminar of professors, peers, self, and text. And the dialogue within this squared space enriches the professors and the students alike. My research interests engage this schema of collective contemplations through reading, writing, and discoursing. And the outcome of this endeavor is to strengthen the inherent and collective consciousness, to in all of us to evoke positive energy for this complex educational global landscape. The intention of such contemplative scholarship is to encapsulate the individual as the agent of transformative confidence, creativity, and community.
Okay, thank you for your introduce your idea and background. That's wonderful. I hope you or we can discuss more today, and you can share more about our education, research, scholar. So that's very interesting, right? I think there are no formal questions here, just something just we come out from our head, so we can discuss together. First things you say the education is very good, very important components in the world, this world. Even now, you say that our education meet many challenges there. And how do we reclaim our education? Right? Even past our current situation. So could you tell us more about your thinking, right, about education and our uh, current situation?
I want to use this opportunity to share a little bit about my upcoming paper at AERA in April. And the topic of my paper, in response to Dr. Zhang's question, is, it's called Mindless and N or Mindful Truths. It's a headless query with a lost luminous mind. And methodologically, this paper builds on William Pina's query. It's essentially an educational, biographical, and autobiographical journey for deepened understanding and deepened agency. As such, the truths are probed through the student, teacher, scholar as truths actualizers. Okay, in Pina's words, the study of query, as a Latin infinitive suggests, involves investigation of the nature of the individual experience of the public, of artifacts, actors, operations of this educational journey or pilgrimage. So this paper that I'm working on is a pilgrimage of mindful and mindless query truths, which is to recover our lost luminous mind. And this pertains to the Buddhist principle of the awakening nature in all sentience. We are like the prodigal son, lost or daughters, lost in confusion. And we have not spent adequate time to recognize our inherent luminosity, our light. And this paper, through the pursuit of queried truths, traces the lost curriculum and to rekindle with what is lost. And engaging in squared contemplative inquiry, we are supported by a Buddhist text. It's called the Shurangama Sutra. And here, the historical Buddha and his students have a dialogue, and they display their mindless and mindful conversations in search of the lost mind, which is a repository of worldly and transcendental tools of life and educational resources. And these provoking dialogues heighten the awaken and awakening propensity of all sentience, which is the fundamental Buddhist truth commonly unrecognized. So in summary, to address Dr. Zhang's question is the goal of this paper and in engaging all of you is we want to spend some time to rekindle with that little voice in all of us. And from the Buddhist perspective, we call this the awakening potential in all sentience, regardless of religion, regardless of spirituality, and all sentient beings have this potential.
And so you see it's a very interesting topic, right? I never see it in the ARA before. That's a very interesting topics, right? So you have the verse, the special as an angle to discuss about the education and the religion and there, right? So how about you see the for your universities, right? And so how about the student resource? Where these come from? And also for after they get degrees, and how about the future careers? Could you tell us more? Also, based on their background and based on their career goals, and how can you engage them?
Yes. So for our schools and the university, our curriculum actually conforms to any California required curriculum. As long in terms of for the university, we have a liberal arts program, and both the university and the schools are accredited. So we actually follow the regular curriculum, but on top of the common curriculum that is expected for graduation in the state of California, we have at least two, I think, components that is a big addition to our curriculum, and we call that mindfulness or contemplative exercises. So when we are in classrooms, when we are reading original texts, across all traditions, we are actually always also looking for uh, original works that actually encapsulates on ways and strategies and methods and principles and philosophies that encourage us to actually find the strength in humanity. So, from the Buddhist perspective, this strength is found within ourselves. But this self is a relational self, like Confucian in many sense. But it goes beyond one world. It can expand into many world systems. And even that notion of rebirth, it goes beyond this present life that we can conceive. But that said, it still brings us back to the current uh, present moment, right? How do we reclaim this balance and this light of humaneness that is imbued in all of us? So many of the activities that we have pertains to finding our original self through meditation, mindfulness, and through balancing activities. Um, I can give some examples. One of the things that is very prevalent for the K-12 education and also for our Buddhist university is we have these um, mindfulness method that we call metta. And metta in Sanskrit it means kindness. So it's a kindness meditation. And it has a refrain that goes like this, right? May we be happy, may we be peaceful, may we be healthy and safe, and may all our good purposes be fulfilled. We contemplate this in calmness, in stillness, right? And how do we contemplate? We actually have that refrain in our minds, but at the same time, we are bringing in all these. When we say we, it can include all our family members, friends, teachers, strangers, people in the news that we care for, right? People in all over the world. Um, so there's this practice that we do where we include ourselves and others that we call metta meditation that we can actually do at all times at any place and it's it's non-religious. It's really our good wishes for ourselves and others. Yeah, that would be one example. In terms of, it's very, I think this question is always brought up, as uh, a Buddhist affiliated school and university. So where do our students go? For K-12 schools, our students work in all fields in STEM, in humanities, in the social sciences. I have lawyers, doctors, teachers. Um, and because we're actually celebrating our 50th anniversary, our database, could be about 500 albums over a 50 years journey. And they are all very successful in many fields of career. Um, we are very proud to remain for the last, I would say 20 years to be 100% college bound. So we really prepare our students to be good people who actually contribute to the community globally in all fields. But at the same time, um, they are very prepared individuals who are very confident of themselves and have strategies to maintain that balance through all the challenges of life.
Mhm.
For our university, it's the same thing. We have a bachelor's in liberal arts and master's in Buddhist classics, and our students also go into all fields. We do have students who are monastics, and when they return to their country or to the Buddhist community, they are monastics, but they support the educational translation or administrative aspect of their schools. In a summary, we are a Buddhist affiliated school and university, but we really prepare our students to be confident individuals, to be able to kind of reach out to community, all walks of life globally and in all areas of, uh, of society.
Yeah, very
Yes.
good. And thank you for sharing. So, as scholars, right, we have our mind also give out many the directions in our life. So you see the different religion, different mind bring something to our life. So, do you have any idea about this one based on your background?
Uh, ca- can you kind of recap your question? I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah. Based on the you see the scholars, right? We
Mhm.
also have so many the opening and like the mindfulness and bring to our life. So how can you think about so give us ourselves many the meaningful the direction suggestion for our life?
Mhm. Mhm. One of the things that we do at the Buddhist University, because we have students who are religious and non-religious, and many are not Buddhists. Um, so in
Really?
our liberal arts program, we are very not careful. I mean, because it's a liberal arts program, and we have, a Western strand, Eastern strand, Indian classic strand, a language strand, to name a few.
Mhm,
Our core is really the original text that is
mhm,
accessible to all, that we read and
mhm,
talk about, and
mhm,
we speak about them in a sense that if I'm reading an Indian text, I one of the goals, the learning outcome is we have to be walking in their shoes. If I'm reading the Bhagavad Gita, I have to be in the shoes of the Bhagavad Gita. I'm
mhm,
no more Jin Jr, I'm no more the Buddhist nun. I'm this work, right? And what is this work
mhm,
trying to tell us,
yeah,
right? From its perspective.
mhm,
So in the liberal arts program, we actually read works from all strands. And the
mhm,
learning outcome for our students is we are expected to be walking in the shoes of each of these traditions, these
mhm,
works. Um, and I think that kind of training really expands the mind in terms of building community
mhm,
and resilience. But at the same time, such confidence in a diversity of philosophies and cultures and works
mhm,
actually enriches our own inherent strength, because we have this openness for you know for all philosophies and undivisive,
Mhm.
uh, we are able to actually strengthen our own individuality. And I think that's what we're seeing with our graduates.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, based on your experience, do you have some based on your research, do you have some special ideas about good points to improve a bring or classroom teaching and learning?
One thing that I think is that again, there's also a lot of this discourse, I think, in mainstream curriculum and educational settings. And,
Mhm.
starting just from, that idea of being student-centered,
Mhm.
um, I I think that's a very important beginning point, that to give the students voice
Mhm.
in their educational path, in their own learning.
Mhm.
So where I come from, from a Buddhist perspective, is just now I was mentioning about reading, discoursing, and writing, and from a
Mhm.
squared space.
Mhm.
Uh, Here, I think it's the balancing act. So the professor or the teacher, and then my peers,
Mhm.
and I,
Mhm.
being one of the student, and also the text. So we have a squared inquiry,
Mhm.
and I think that um, mechanism really enriches the conversations, and in our ability to hold each other together and actually raise each other together,
Yeah.
intellectually and also as individuals. And so I feel, again, when I'm speaking about this, all of us are in this setting like shrubs, right? We have the student, the setting, and the curriculum, and the milieu, right?
Mhm.
Uh, so bringing in Schwab is a good point, because we know the four commonplaces. So really, this squared inquiry, I think it's very akin to Joseph Schwab's, four commonplaces. But I think bringing that as a very intentional framing in the classroom as we are professors, um, instead of professing, we're actually conversing. We are only but one side of this square. In that sense, then I'm thinking another important uh, character or value of me as a professor, and I have these very um, um, rich experiences, intellectually and so forth. But how do I humble myself when I'm in this squared competition, squared space with my students, with these texts? What can they teach me, right? And what can I share, and how can we dialogue and engage each other in raising our consciousness and awareness? And to what purpose? For ourselves, but also to raise our community and our surrounding
Mhm.
uh, friends and family and our community, and really on a global setting, right?
Mhm.
And that said, I was really maybe speaking a bit more about, the importance of that collective.
Mhm.
But from the Buddhist perspective, the interplay between the individual and the collective is very, very important.
Mhm.
When we can raise the community, we're actually raising ourselves, and we raise ourselves, we're actually raising the community. So they're
Mhm.
really undivided.
Very good, thank you. Also, you see, then so mostly, if we talk about education, mostly the many of the educators focus on their knowledge and skills. But beyond their intelligent or knowledge and skills, what else? You need to think of based on your experience, what we need to give students more. Yeah, you
In
see
our
the something, you see the
Yes,
IQ, EQ, or sometimes we call the social emotion learning or something else.
yes,
Do you have
yes,
any idea about those things?
yes. So in our schools, and also at the university level, we are all familiar with this the CASEL acronym, which is CEL, Social Emotional Learning. And
Mhm.
actually, in the recent development, I think based on some research through the Dalai Lama's team, and also through Emory University, SEL cell it's now expanded into SEE is a C. So it's the social, emotional, and ethical aspects of learning.
Wow.
I see that really being also another important component because that's actually one of our schools and universities' learning outcome is ethical character for our students and graduates at the high school and also the university level. That said, when you ask me what is the most important thing we have to give to our students, I really think we have to give them mindfulness. In our day and age where things are very unsettled, there's a lot of unsettling situations. Um, Even as adults, we know the energy of our communities is troubling, to say the least, um, and confusing. And from the Buddhist perspective, and part of my paper, and this, search for, truths, they're not just knowledge truths, but there is a ongoing search for, that's why I call it query of truthing, right? And it's an ongoing search to find that balance in us all. So if it is one thing that I feel that we should, bring to our students really is it's mindfulness. And it does not need to have any religious connotations.
Mhm.
And it's very clear through our liberal arts program. We can see from the Western class, any kind of strand, any kind of literary works um, actually have elements of that. It could be the Greeks, it could be the Romans, it could be Victorian. You can name it all. Um, and many of the Confucian texts, right? There's just very beautiful works that we can use as a settling moment in our classroom, and that could be as little as 5 minutes. Let's journal on these few words, right? And I sometimes do that. And it need not it doesn't even need to be closing your eyes and stilling your body, right? Reflective journey is a very contemplative and mindful, a very powerful mindful um, strategy. So yeah, I would say what I think our students need and adults need, even professors when we go to meetings, and I think we need mindfulness. And if we can reclaim that that balance and that light in all of us, I think we will all be a little bit more effective in what we do and the people
Yeah.
we meet, and to transform them and ourselves.
Wonderful. And thank you for sharing. And think time run very fast. We really hope you can discuss more. But we have to switch to next section and the Q&A. So we need to open and to discuss with our audience, right? So we can check the chat box and to check which questions do we have, and we can discuss. So I think one
I think we
the
can open the question to the audience here first,
yeah.
and then we can go to the questions. We have
Yeah.
65 people watching in our SAERA video channel, so they have some questions as well. Let's open the
Mhm.
question for the Zoom audience here first. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Shi. I just think that we can not overstate the significance of your work here, particularly in this society when AI development is so fast and we are all in a state of confusion and doubts. And so I really appreciate so much your work. And I think your study will be able to inform our education in this country and in the world, what's important for students. In fact, many of us, I think, no matter what religion we have, whether we have religion or not, we are applying a lot of these things in our life, like what you said, mindfulness, balance, we use those strategies. And the problem is that for many parents, they are not seeing the full importance of these strategies. And in the real world, many parents are still focusing on academic stuff, their standardized test. And these, I think, maybe in the future, we need to promote this in our research to show how people are really, students can really benefit from this important work. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, there's a question about, whether mindfulness is considered a religious practice. It can be. That's where I think in different school settings, it's important to have that communication with the parents, and if needed, even a question and answer session where things really can be explained, that really is non-ecumenical. And research studies, can definitely tell us, how this is useful for all age, especially children today who are very, very agitated because of the energy that they are subtly receiving from the adults, including parents. Yes.
More questions?
Hi, Dr. Shi. Wen Jing. I'm pretty impressed by your speech and talk and like the conversations. And the one question I have is like it's lingering around for a while since when I get my education in the United States, I feel like as a Chinese person, I'm very humble, I'm very obedient. But when I came to the States, like people teach me, no, you shouldn't be humble yourself, you should be self-confident. How you perceive that concept, like balancing being obedient myself, being humbleness, and also being super confident. And how did you teach that like to your students and practicing that as yourself? Thank you so very much.
That's a beautiful question, Wenjin or Dr. Guo. Yeah, I in Buddhism we talk a little. It's very interesting. Sometimes the notion of duality is seen as a negative thing, but to me, the dualness of things is actually very important in terms of the interplay. So we have humility and confidence playing together, and I think that's the balancing act. It's like they both have it's like you're playing a ping pong, and one bat on one side it's humility, and the other side is confidence. And it's always a interplay. And how do you actually find that balance? I think it's through experience. But with children and with students, I think it's important to emphasize, especially with Asian students that I work a lot with, to actually emphasize more on bringing out their voice, and at the same time to practice listening to oneself and others. So then it's really not about humility or confidence, but it's on that skill of listening to oneself and others. And how do you kind of find it's when I say find a balance, that maybe to say that both are important, right? And that you can do that, as a good human being, to listen to others and to yourself. So then we're desensitizing. It's not so much about virtue that Confucian or the Buddha told us to do. Now we are really focusing on the listening skill. And I think one of my papers, actually, or a couple of my papers, talk about that. And I'm actually still learning how to listen to myself and others as I move into different settings and work with different students. It's actually a very fun thing. And one of my 2026 goal, New Year resolution, I'm being a bit personal here, is how to be more present. And being more present really is, I would say, it's how do I become a better listener? Yeah, that was my 2026 goal. So I love your question. I just want to let you know, like query in truthing, I always see this pilgrimage and journey as an ongoing process. And the truth shifts from time to time, depending on who you're becoming and who you meet and in what setting. Yeah.
Thank
And
you
I
so
guess
much.
that's the joy
I
of
love that.
education and learning and just
And the
this
listening.
conversation and listening. Yes.
Thank you.
I think you have shared the very interesting topic points with us. You see, when we live in the United States, when we work in the United States, so sometimes when we teach our classes, so sometimes when you think about what's our original the culture, what's the current here the culture, there may be something that make some difference, right? So you see, confidence is very important. On the other hand, we need to keep our heart open, right? To open, right? Not only the keep our the original the opening, we need to open and share more. I just want to share one idea there. You see, when I start my teaching in the United States, right? So one day, then I teach one things in assessments. One word, my talk speak is not very correct, and then one students, one girl, like a lot. So I was shocked, right? In a big Chinese culture, I'm professor, so meet this challenge, and I never meet this kind of challenge. But here, I open and I ask her, okay, I'm sorry, English is my second language, right? I speak this word the wrong way. Could you teach me the once, twice, third time? After third time, and then she said, okay, Jason, you did a good job. So, and then I continue talk about it, right? I'm professor teach your assessments, right? But you see that my language, this language is Chinese. So 2,500 years ago, the Confucian to us, teaching and learning together. So I compare, right? I'm open. I teach your assessment. You also can teach me the language. We can teach learning together. We also can improve together. After that, whole class feel very happy. They were happy for that. At this moment, you see, I need a little bit challenge at that moment, but don't keep the original opening closed. That's open, right? We want to try to learn. And then in the end, we switch the challenge to a very good chance to teaching and learning together. Whole class feel very happy. They want to get more knowledge about the educational the theories come from the China, Confucius, right? So that's a very wonderful opportunity. I think that for us, right, this global and also we live in this world, right? Different culture, different background, different language. So for us, we need to keep our hearts open and to try to learn. Even now, I'm a little bit old, but I will still keep going. We need to learn more, right? So this is my opinion. Thank you.
There were some questions about strategies that are, non-religious. I think breathing is a very good non-religious tool for the classroom. And then I'm very blessed with a big campus. So I think nature, just being with nature. Like, for example, in the past 2 weeks, my students were listening to the sounds of birds. There were days that we were just observing a blossoming flower. And there's a walking mindfulness we call Shirin Yoku. This is from Japan, and it's called forest bathing. And so there are many non-religious strategies that actually that we can all do in our classrooms. And the list goes on online, but I'm also happy to share my own list. And Dr. Boyanton, if it's okay, if I can share my email with everybody and we
Yeah,
can
go ahead.
continue
You
conversation.
raised a lot of questions here. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I really appreciate, I think part of the humility that Dr. Zhang is saying is how do we listen to our students, um, and raise our students, as our teacher. And in that sense, the teacher-student divide, um, it breaks down. And I think that's the best kind of education. And especially for me as a professor or a teacher, when my student can actually share something that that I've not thought about. I think those are the beautiful moments. And if, as educators, if we can open that space more and more through listening, through really humbling ourselves, we're quite amazed how the student-teacher divide is really not necessary. And definitely from at the university and the schools with that shared contemplative inquiry, these roles are really just names when we're really engaged in the text and engaging in this conversation. Yeah. Like today, we all come from different parts of the world and we all have different roles, different areas. I don't think there's a moment that we're thinking of our roles. We were just listening to each other. And I really appreciate the questions. Yeah.
I think we have another question from Mr. Barrow. Did I say your last name right? Yes. Go ahead. You can unmute yourself. We're going to go delay a little bit. Yes. Yeah. He's
Me?
one of the speakers too. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you so much.
yeah,
Thank you
introduce
so much.
yourself first.
Yeah, my name is Raj and I am from Nepal. Nepal is the
Nepal.
birthplace of Buddha.
That's
So,
right. Yes.
and I have been meditating Vipassana meditations since 2000. It has been already 26 years of practicing Vipassana meditation. So I belongs to Hindu family, but I'm very much influenced with the Buddhism. So my only one curiosity is not the questions. I am still searching myself that there are different paths of mindfulness develop in Buddhism based on the karitas of individual. Karitas means mental capacity, mental temperaments of the individual. So we cannot apply single meditations or single techniques of mindfulness to the diverse mindset of children. So, so how can we integrate? In Hinduism also there are different paths. Gyan Marga means path of knowledge. Bhakti Marga means path of devotion. And there are different paths. So different techniques are available in Buddhism as well, based on the mental characters, mental capacity of students. So Vipassana is very much thoughtful and very much effective in the mentally intelligence type of peoples. So how can we explore the different mindful techniques of Buddhism and apply into classroom curriculums? In modern education system, we treat unequal children equally. So there is big gap and difficulties to address the differences of children. So how to integrate or apply diverse mindfulness techniques of Buddhism and apply into the diverse classroom. This is very big questions and I'm still searching, and this is my questions to the floor, this floor as well, to explore further. So thank you very much.
Yes. I really appreciate that question, Dr. Barrow, because that's one of the things that I think as teacher educators, we have a curriculum to teach. And, I have so much resources and I need to share them all. But for me, I always leave room in the curriculum for my students to actually create their own sacred space, their own mindfulness space. And it so happened this month in February was the month for it. And we just started this week, so I'm actually curious to see at the end of the week because part of how I incorporate these, use your own strategy, because they've already learned all kinds of strategies in the fall. So in the spring, we happen to have a month where you pick your own strategy. And at the end of the week, they actually do some journaling and I have a bit of sharing. So I'm actually quite curious to see what kind of methods they pick. So as a teacher or a professor, we have a curriculum, but I always leave room where there can be some openness for the students to kind of rise to the occasion. And so, quote, quote, like what we were saying, be the teacher themselves. Yeah. I think that's one way to think about having the student's voice and really embracing and being open to all methods of mindfulness. And clearly so, from the Buddhist perspective, because we all have our own unique pathways in raising our light, our banner, yeah, of this in this world.
Interesting.
All right, we have two. I know we go over time, 13 minutes already. Just two quick questions. I think one student is asking in our video channel is, do mindfulness, like the practice, graded in your classroom?
Yes.
You give them evaluation?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
We actually give them feedback. There is no evaluation. But sometimes for the high school, for midterm, we do give them a grade, but the grade is a very free grade. It's like credit by doing. So it's
Okay.
yeah, so it's a bit of a different grading system because we are, in California, we still have to give grades.
Okay.
And actually our course is a UC approved course.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's credit by doing. So
Yeah.
as long as you're participating and improving, you get a well-deserved grade.
All right. Okay. I have to grab this opportunity to ask at least one question is like, do you think mindful practice in education today is a must or is a plus? If it's a must, that means without mindful practice, that's not a real education. We're not help to students to know who they are, to connect to the inner light, to the humanity. If it's a plus, that means without mindful practice, it's still education, but it's just not as good. So what is your opinion on that?
I really think that mindfulness is a must for 21st century and beyond education. How so? Because mindfulness really is not just about calming, it's about reclaiming our potentials that I think is very lost
It's like a humanization, right? It's to help you to become a human.
That's right.
Connect to the heart and the soul,
That's correct. And then in the advent of AI, that was brought up earlier, it's a very, very useful tool. And I call AI really a conglomerate of all our consciousnesses. So it's quite scary and quite, but so much potential. We have a potential collected in AI. But how do we manage, monitor this usage, for ourselves and for others? It's something that I think really needs to come from our collective and inherent consciousness. So, and without mindfulness, when we don't have that clarity, I don't think we can use what is given to us, that is so wonderful in an ethical and humanized way.
Yeah. That's why today we're all chasing those technology, those, so-called success, but we, don't have the time to look inward, to search inside us, to seek the light within us. So
that's right.
Yeah. All right. Wow. We have 80 people on the other channel watching right now. Can you believe that? They have a lot of questions. Sorry, guys, we don't have time for all the questions. All right. So, Jason, you want to say something before I end?
Okay, no more. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful time. I hope we have more time to discuss it in future. Thank you.
Yes. So thank you so much. I really think I agree. Like I agree with the point you just made is I think mindful practice it's a must, and it's urgent too. You know, I know in all over the world, children are suffering from their anxiety and stress, you know, because they don't have the time to think, to reconnect. Yeah, so definitely very, very important topic. So thank you so much, and I do hope we can, you know, somehow to promote this kind of mindful practice in the future. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining our second forum. So next, I'm going to make some announcement for our next one. Next one is going to be February 11th. It's Culturally Adapting Simultaneous Creativity Framework Assessing Japanese Creativity through Shinto, Buddhism, and Confucianism by, I think Ming is here. Are you here? I think I saw you. Are you here? Hello? Do you want to say hi? Yes. From the George Washington University and Manton King. Are you here? I saw the name. Okay. From Vietnam National University and Wenjing. Wenjing, you want to say hi again? Wenjing
Hello,
will be
hello,
our chair. I look forward to this session because I don't know much about this topic, so I'm here to learn. All right.
Me neither. I'm so looking
Yeah,
forward
Min,
to
say hi.
learn.
Okay, Min, give us a reason why we should come listen to you next week. Yeah. So, do you want to share? Quickly share.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice to meet you. And yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you all next week. I think one week from now on, right? Intend to introduce regarding the creativity with the so-called East Asian characteristics, and in this case from the Japanese perspective.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to.
I look forward to learn from you. Yes. Yes. All right.
Thank
So next week, we're going to look forward to learning about adapting simultaneous creativity framework from the Shinto, Buddhism, and Confucianism perspective. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot more exciting forums coming up and our AERA sessions. All right. That's a lot. Are you guys getting excited for AERA? All right. Okay, so that's all we have. And oh, yes, please, I want to quickly remind everybody, please vote for our next board because this is my last year for real this time. And so we have 3 candidates for the chair, Dr. Jin Jr Shi, who you just met, Dr. Gerald Postigonia from University of Hong Kong, and Dr. Jie Yu from Rollins College. And we have 2 people are running for the program chair, Dr. Jason Tongling from Education University of Hong Kong, and Wen Jing from the Xi'an University of Architecture and Technology. And we have 2 people are running for the secretary and treasurer. That is Adrian Blumenthal from University of Denver and Dr. John Smith from Oklahoma State University. And we have 2 are running for communication chair, Karen Wu. All right. All right. So Karen Wu from the Utah State Board of Education and Dr. Lily Yang from the University of Hong Kong. And please vote by February 10th, because after that, the AEI will just close the election. You will lose your opportunity to vote. Okay. Final announcement is please do register for the AEI. I just did it today because I learned from my last year. I passed the deadline and I have to pay $100 extra. So definitely try to, register before February 13th. Here are several more announcements. One is from the Philosophy of Education sorry, it's blocked. I cannot quite see here. Sans Frontier, PESF here. They have a list quote here, QR code here, scan it, and join the mailing list. Maybe there's some exciting things you would like to get involved. Chinese Society for Education, CSE, they have the conference August 10th to 12th, 2026. And the deadline for proposal submission is March 1st, coming up soon. Early bird registration is May 1st. And also this is CAERDA. Jason Zhang is the president. So they are going to have the conference basically that day, the 2 days before the AEIA, and the early bird is February 15th, the same. So I encourage you to attend that conference. I've been there. It was fun, right? All right. I think that's all I have. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for participating today. We really enjoyed Dr. Jin Jr Shi's talk. I want to give you a big hug. And today I'm going to learn to listening, connect to myself, and be humble. Okay, thank you very much. See you next week.